Hi, this is Professor Beck, and we've had a request to see a couple more parallel exercises worked for assignment number 4. So one of the assignment numbers we're asked for is assignment 8. That parallels TAL 15. So I'm going to go ahead and copy TAL 15 and pop over into my SQL query editor. And I'm just going to paste that in and come back here and comment it, so we can have it at the top as we're working and see what we're trying to do. So we're going to list the order number and order date for each order that either was placed by Almonton General Store. Okay, so that's going to come from out of a customer name, or that contains an order line for a fire engine. So I'm going to need to have the order detail stuff for the item name is fire engine. Okay. So let's set up our general structure. So we're going to have a select of some things. They're going to come from some tables, and there's going to be a where, and in that where there's going to be a join, and then let's see, there's also going to be a conjunction with the item description for fire engine. So we'll just kind of lay out our structure there. So let's go ahead and enumerate our tables. So thinking about this, we're going to need the customer table, and we're going to need the orders table, not order line, orders. Yeah. And let's start with select star, and we'll trim that down momentarily. And now let's work on our join. Okay, so in order to get those all linked together, we're going to need customer dot customer num, and that link is going to link up on the orders table, orders dot customer num. And let's see here. We also want the customer name equals Almonton General Store. All right, let's see what that gets us so far in orders.customer num. All right, so let's run that. Now that gets us the first piece, placed by Almonton General Store, but we also need to find that in combination with order line containing a fire engine. And that actually is a totally separate query. Let's see how we can clean that up. Let's go ahead and first fix our select. So what we actually wanted was the ordered num and order date. Okay, so we've cleaned up the first query. Let's take that and let's just comment that all out for right now. And let's see what the second part of the query really needs to be. So we're going to have a select. We're going to have a from. Let me make a little more real estate here. And we're going to have a where we're going to do a join. And let's see, we're going to need a second join there. And then we're also going to need to throw in the filter for the fire engine. Okay, so let's go ahead and list our tables and think about how we join this up. So we're going to need orders.ordernum, and we've got to bring that over to our order line, because we need a little bit of data from the order line table. And of course, we need the item description, so we need to bring in the item table. All right. And again, let's start with selecting everything from that whole mess, and we'll trim it down. And then our first join is going to look something like this. So orders dot order num equal to order line dot order num. So I've hooked up the orders table with the order line table, and then the other join I need to bring in because I need to get that item description in there. So I need to find the linkage between the order line table and the description over an item. So that's the order line is going to link to item on the item number is the primary key foreign key relationship there. So order line dot order num is going to equal item. Oops. Order line dot item num, excuse me, is going to equal item dot item num, and then we'll go ahead and add in Fire Engine. But let's just comment that out temporarily and see if our join's working all right. No. So what did we get wrong in our from clause? Orders. Oh, got this on the wrong line. We need orders, we need order line, and we need item. Okay, so let's give that a shot. Okay, so our join clause is working. Got that join up done first. So now we can treat this view, treat this as if it's one big table that we're working with because we got them all hooked up. Okay, so once those are all hooked up, that's good. And then we wanted to add another filter here, and that is the description is Fire Engine. And let's run that. Oh, got to spell it right. And yeah, okay, so we've got it filtered for the Fire Engine. And again, what we want is only the order num and the order date. Oh, but we got to disambiguate it. So which order num do we want? Let's get orders dot order num, because there's two possible sources because of the join in that query for that field. So there we are. And now, if you notice that these are two very different queries, but they are being filtered down to give us a common structure, order num and order date, and order num and order date. So what we can do when we have to use two queries to get a solution set is we can use the union operator to say, as long as we've set it up so the same columns are in common, we can stack that as if it was all one result. And the way that we do that is first we come up here and let's uncomment that and take this query and we add the keyword union. And since they now have the identical structure, they can be made into one result set and put into a single query using the union to hook them all together. And there we go. So there's our answer to the first Omlinton General Store, order number 51617 on 1015, and then order number 51623 for the Fire Engine also on 1015. All right. So sweet, kind of a neat trick using the union operator. All right, so let's take a look at the next parallel question. that was posed, and that was, I believe, number 10. So skipping number 9, coming down to number 10, and here's the assignment exercise, and the parallel question being posed is TAL number 19, and it says for each item, list the item number, the description, the units on hand, the order number, and number of units ordered. All items should be included in the results. Aha. Okay, so all items need to be in the results, whether or not they are on an order. So when we have an unequal join, so when we can have some null in one side, we need to use either a left join or a right join. Either will work, depends on which table we specify first as being, if we want to go first to the second, we're going to use a left join. If we're going to go to the second to the first, we're going to use a right join. It's usually easier to kind of think, since we read left to right, to also think left to right in these relationships. So let's go ahead and structure it that way. And for those items that are currently not on order, the order number and number of units ordered should be left blank. Well, that's all automatically going to be happening, because they will be nulls if we use a left join, because there won't be anything on that side of the join criteria. But the left join is going to make sure that if they're there on the left-hand table, that the rows show up even if the right-hand side table elements are empty, if they're null. Okay, and then finally, order the results by order number. So let's go ahead and grab this again, come back over and paste it in as a comment so we can remind ourselves what we're doing as we go along. Okay. And oh, now I know what's funny. I must have missed the 1 and the 19. Is that right? Yeah, I didn't get it all. Okay, I was thinking that was a little bit odd looking. I'm sorry, it's a late evening. Okay, that looks a little bit more reasonable. Okay, so again, building our structure, we're going to have a select, we're going to have a from, and this time we're going to use, rather than equivalency to do our join, where this item and this table equals the other, we're going to use an explicit, and we said it was going to be a left join. Okay. And then finally, we're going to have an order by clause, and I'll leave that for last. And let's start with a select star. We'll come back and clean that up shortly. And then we want from the item table, and we don't have to put a comma in the other table, because the left join is going to explicitly state which table is being joined for the right-hand side. Left join to order line. Okay, so we're going to get everything from the items table and those things in the order line table if they exist. So it means if there's a match. So there could be items in the item table that exist but have never yet been ordered. Okay, so that makes sense. And then we have to specify the criteria on which that left join is to take place. So left join order line on item.item number is going to equal order line dot item number. So this isn't new. That's the same primary key foreign key relationship we've used before. Only now we're using it in an explicit join in the left join statement. Okay. And so let's take a look at just that much. We haven't gotten the order by end. We haven't filtered down to just the fields that we're asked for, but let's see what we're getting. Okay. And list item numbers on hand, number ordered, including the results for those that are currently not on order. Okay, so that's looking good. So I am seeing nulls showing up over here, and that makes sense. And am I getting all of the item numbers? Let's go ahead and throw in our order by item.item num, make sure those are in order, and it's a little bit easier to see. Now it's guaranteed now to be all alphabetical order. Now, you may sometimes see that they are in alphabetical order without that. That's really an artifact of the fact that when I created the sample data, when I put that in, I put it in order, so it's well ordered and nice, so it happens to fall out that way. As the database is used, new records are going to get added. They're not going to get added in alphabetical order. It's going to get very fragmented. And so that's not always going to be the case. So it's really important that we remember, even if the output looks right now, we need to specify order by if we want that to be right. Now, just to do a sanity check, how can we sanity check this right quick? Okay, so if we take a look, how many records are we getting on a select star with the left join on order line? Okay, so it looks like we're getting 16 rows. So tell you what, let's do. Let's pop up a new query right quick, and let's say use tal, and let's say select star from, actually, let's get fancy. Count star from item, and 15, and we've got 16. What's our difference? Oh, there's our 15. Why did I think we were getting 16? Oh, we are getting 16. Uh-oh. Because we probably have something in here, there it is, that was ordered twice. So it's showing up twice because it's on separate orders. Very good. Okay. All right, so that accounts for that. So it looks like we're getting all of the items in there. We could pare that down and say distinct item to see if we get that count of 15. We will, but we just saw the duplicate, so good to go on that. And now let's go ahead and fix what were we actually asked to get in the original. Okay, we only wanted the item.item number and the description on hand and num ordered. So just those fields. Nice. Let's bring this up so we can see our results a little better. All right, so there's your parallel for number 10. I've made a note in the instructions for number 10. They should make a point of noticing, and that is that using the current data, you're going to find that all items have orders. Okay, so you're not going to see any nulls showing up on the 117 database. So what you ought to do is don't assume that that's correct. Satisfy yourself that your query is operating correctly. I would recommend going in and adding an extra item to the items table temporarily, and then you should show up that item never having been ordered, should show up as having nulls in the left join. So that you can satisfy yourself that it's working, then go ahead and just drop that one row back out of the table again. All right, so I hope that's helpful, and if you have more questions, want to see more parallel problems, please keep the questions coming. I'm happy to go to the mailbag and answer those.